Welcome back to another quest. Last week, we stopped to make camp and met a rather odd-looking wolf. Gave me a headpiece shotting with it. After, we made it to Hillsburg in one piece. Much to me surprise, that is. We went to Archibald's auspicious armaments to pitch extra weapons and armor, before we wound up copping a flower pot and short of a sheep. Before we wound up in trouble and broke, I mean. Come on, we're off to the Sun Crusaders Temple now.
You find yourself standing outside of Archibald's auspicious armaments, the town square laid out before you. In the center of Hillsburg is a massive marketplace, home to many of the guildless trying to sell wares in stalls that are strictly moderated. On the edges of this market square, there are the guild halls that are selling their own personal goods. You have every guild, from the illustrious postcard guild to the messenger guild to the candy guild to the mercenary guild to the soldier guild, which are rivals somehow placed adjacent to each other. The mining guild gets their own entire wing of the market district. They run the town, and it's kind of obvious that they are loving their opulence here. Behind the mining guild district stands a massive cathedral. The architecture lends itself to only one group, the Sun Crusade. Now, why you can recognize this is because they have a specific type of roof line that they use that has clockwork winges following the passage of the sun through the seasons, such that the rising and setting sun are always captured and eclipsing this roof. What do you guys want to do?
Well, I don't know about you, but I've got two things burning a hole in me pocket. One, all that money we got from hooking that equipment, and two, bloody cursed dagger.
But the dagger's in my pocket.
All right, you're right, but it still freaks me out.
Fair enough.
So, does that mean we should probably head talk to the big, building that is very big? Why is it so big? Do you think they can fly in there?
You know, I've been asked that myself a few times in my life. I'm sure they have their reasons.
Siorin, are you saying you're compensating as much as the Sun Guild is?
Right, it looks like that giant building's not the only thing round here that's burning.
So does that mean you guys head over there?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, fantastic. So as you approach the building, you kind of have to go through the mining district to get there. And honestly, it seems weird how many different types of picks for mining that they're trying to sell you. And when you look at them, they don't look different. But apparently, each one has a very specific use. And you count at least 13 different types of all utility picks. Yeah, Reed.
Dilbert, as we go by all these different kinds of picks, would like to rearrange them on the shelves.
I guess roll me sleight of hand, or are you trying to be sneaky?
Oh, no, not trying to be sneaky whatsoever. Just kind of picking them up, looking at them as if I'm going to buy them, and then putting them on a different shelf, like not where I picked them up from, and doing that with multiple different ones to rearrange it.
There's a shopkeeper kind of just staring at you aghast. Like he looks like he's trying to say things, but he's just like, his mouth is just open in shock.
What stat do you make a shit disturber roll with?
Is that charisma, or is it something else?
I mean, I can roll a performance if you want.
Perform shit disturbery.
I got a 14 plus 1.
Oh, so you're not proficient in it? I'm shocked.
I didn't know. Am I proficient in shit disturbery?
This is like a fair DM question.
You know, like would you be? That's a very good question. I don't know.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and feel like, given the nature of Dilbert's character, that would be a resounding yes.
Yeah, you know, I think I was going to try to take that away, but you're right. That makes total sense to me. Yeah, we'll give you proficiency on shit disturbing.
Perfect. 14 plus 3, that's a 17.
You successfully stir the pot. This guy is dumbfounded by.
Excellent.
Hey, you! Would you like to go and buy a giant spoon before we go in here?
What do I need a giant spoon for?
Well, I mean, you could stir the pot a little bit more effectively with it, don't you think?
I mean, that's true. Have you ever seen a giant spoon before? They're very fun to put on gnomes as hats.
You know, I don't know if I want to ask why you know that or not.
People don't like it when you turn their stuff into cutlery. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, so as you kind of approach this temple and get past the last stalls of the mining district, one of the things you see is just the courtyard in front of it. And dominating the courtyard is a massive sundial. And it's probably about twice as tall as Sioran, and Sioran's already obnoxiously tall. So this is just like needlessly tall. It honestly looks like they probably paid for as much land to put the sundial in as they did for the entire cathedral itself. It does tell the time to the second with the passage of the sun. So that's pretty cool. And they have like little runes inscribed on the ground. It's very like intricate, but the sundial itself is just obnoxious.
Like, can we tell the time, or is the sundial too tall for us to see above it?
Well, so the way sundials work is actually the time is like the shadow cast on the ground is how you tell the time. The triangle sets that perfect shadow down so you can see where it is.
Got it. You learn about the mechanics of sundials on your D&D podcast.
I like to bring some education into my games just in case.
Next week will be the first episode of Science with Sioran. Learn about the fucking triangles on this here sundial.
Can we actually, please? Can we?
I want to learn science with Sioran, and I want him to be just as angry as most of my other teachers were.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you really like the idea of Science with Sioran, we'll put a Patreon tier where we just have Sioran explain the science of things in my D&D world.
Or even the science things of other things. He might not know them, but he'll explain them.
All right, so moving forward, the door that stands behind this massive sundial is ornate. It's painted black wood with like solid gold nodules covering it. You can't really see any handles, but you do see those cool knocker dealies that you could knock on in theory and use to push and pull. Yeah, as you like go and do that, it kind of weirdly lightly just like opens up as you use the handle. And on the inside, it looks like there's about two people in this massive cathedral. And when you're looking at the building outside, it looks like it could just be one room, and it really just is. It's not much more than one like massive sanctuary. You got the pews all lining up. It looks like there's a priest of sorts giving a practice sermon, and he's kind of cut short as you guys walk in and beckons you forward.
Seems like recruitment's not going well for the Sun Guild.
Well, yeah, they spent all their time building this giant sundial instead of spreading the word of teamwork.
Do the Sun Guilds follow Gibraltar?
They should, if they knew it was good for them.
Okay, sounds good. So that like inner like god rivalry. Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yes, haven't you heard? My god is better than yours.
Oh, I've heard that many times.
It's the one true, truthful one. The other 4,986 of them are just full of beans.
I've also heard that from many different people worshiping many different gods.
You know, Sioran, I had no idea gods were full of beans. I always thought they bled like gold or something. This is really fascinating.
Well, we'll find out real fast what bleeds out my nose if I stick around here too much longer. Sioran starts strolling towards the people that are inside.
So as you guys approach the pulpit, the priest there steps down from it. Welcome to the Church of the Sun. How can I help you, wanderers?
Well, we're here for a couple reasons. One, I hear you've got a friend of yours that's gone wandering off worshipping the moon now. And then number two, we got a creepy dagger to show you.
Right. I suppose we can start with the fallen crusader, if that's amenable to you.
Did he skin his knee when he fell?
Sioran just like slowly massages his temples and kind of stares into his hand in like almost disbelief.
So is that why he left? Does he just need a bandage? I think I have a bandage. Would that help?
You have to realize that I was using an idiom. But you may not realize that if you were an idiot.
Hey, he might be an idiot. Something bad might happen if you make him sad. I don't know. Watch it.
Is that That sounds like intimidation to me.
I'm here for it. That is a nat 20.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. -1.
Right. Sorry. I was frustrated. My apologies.
In an attempt to ease the person that he's talking to, after kind of realizing he got a little aggressive. It's all right. He does it to me all the time.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate the understanding. So, let's get started then. This is no easy tale for me to tell. As Balin Grey was like a brother to me. We came across the sea together, he and I. We came here to cleanse this land of all the monsters that lived here, cleanse it of the shadow. In the process, Balin turned at one point, I do not know why, and he took with him all the crusaders who were loyal to him, and he managed to turn them to the moon, which to me was horrifying to learn. And in my quest to understand, I learned that there is a certain amount of truth to what he was doing. The moon is, in fact, a primordial. So too are there deities out there who are children of the moon, and that chilled me to my bone. Balin took with him the moon render and has relabeled it sun render, and he consecrated it to the moon. And he has himself waged a war against the light, trying to get us off this continent, not actually trying to kill us. However, he must be stopped.
Yeah, that's a lot to listen to all at once. I'm going to actually ask, would Sioran know what a primordial is?
I mean, you can roll a religion check to find out.
That is 16 plus 3 for a 19.
I can give you some info on that. So primordials are basically the like what was before there was sort of thing. They are given credit for creating the planes. So the primordials that you know are volcano, ocean, sky, and the sun, each representative of one of the primal elements. And it's theorized that shadow might be a primordial that was once good but is no longer, but it is not confirmed. Basically, to find out that the moon is a primordial is to say that they're more nuanced than you actually would have previously thought within your doctrine. And the primordials are given credit with giving birth to the gods. The gods are credited for creating all the mortal denizens that fill the world. And Shadow is actually given credit with giving birth to every monster out there.
With
So,
the shadow god, primordial thingy, person, lady, would she have made the dagger?
Is this that dagger you mentioned?
Dilbert, you got that dagger on you?
Fluff it out from under my poncho. Wait, if this dagger is consecrated by the chateau or some big fancy person in the sky or whatever being it is, does that mean I need to give it a cool name?
We could call it Dark Piercer or Scary McSlicey Stab.
I was going to go with something a little more classy, like Lockpick or something.
Oh, yeah, I guess maybe we could ask you about that, too. So there's this portal that this here dagger, well, it opens it, and it goes to this really dark and dreary place. Feels like another plane, you know. It's like you're completely left home. There's no sun. It's just eclipse. You ever heard of this?
So you're saying that this dagger opened up a portal to the Shadowfell?
Don't tell him where. He'll take our money.
Right, I can neither confirm nor deny the existence of a Shadowfell. Just that it's not a very nice place to be.
Would you mind if I took a look at that dagger?
Just as long as we get it back after.
Begrudgingly hand it over.
So he takes it and he starts looking over it. He starts turning it over, and he looks pretty perplexed.
This is interesting.
You know when somebody's like trying to make it look like they know what they're doing, but they clearly don't necessarily fully know. So he's doing one of those, and he kind of turns it over, and is like,
This just looks like a normal shadow artifact from the shadow ruins.
Maybe he slept through shadow class in preschool.
"Yeah, what up?"
Soren would like to see if he can identify to his friend here what's different about this dagger.
Yeah, go ahead and roll me a religion for that.
14 plus 3 for 17.
Yeah, you can kind of see that like there's some form of divine power attached to those runes, and you could effectively point it out to him to get him to be able to retry his roll if you wanted.
Have you tried? Now, I'm spitballing here. Looking at the dagger instead of the floor.
Maybe he's blinded by the light.
Can I try to cast guidance on him as he's doing this?
Oh, yeah. Do the thing. Roll that extra D4 or whatever.
Okay, yeah. I'll like put my hand, like pat his shoulder as I'm saying this. Look at the dagger. Advice, we'll say. He gets +2.
Okay, fantastic. So this time he definitely passes his roll and doesn't crit fail it like he did the first time. Oh, I see what I missed here. Would you look at that? So, something that you should know of the Sun Crusade is that we actually consecrate our weapons in the light, we shall say, of the sun. And he kind of draws his blade that's on his back at this point and shows it to you, and it like glistens. Even as he goes to where like into shadows, it still glistens like it's being like in direct sunlight. This blade is similarly consecrated, but in shadow. And he kind of like goes and like puts it in direct sunlight, and it still looks like it's in shadows.
A proverbial light bulb appears above Sioran's head. You say you consecrate your weapons in light, do you? As a fellow member of the light, you know, as I see you've noticed me crest for Gibraltar, would you be interested in helping a brother out and consecrating his pacemaker? And Sioran displays his trusty hammer.
I think that's a persuasion roll.
So we're rolling with a -1 on persuasion here. So this will go really fast.
Hold up.
Oh.
Can I help?
You know what? If you can break a 15 on an aid another check, or I guess actually no, technically if you're trying to aid another, it gives layered advantage. Yes, that's the one. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, sorry, I'm going off 3.5 rules, and 5e rules are if you're helping, they get advantage. So layered, you can have advantage.
We're looking for another DM, as our DM is currently confused about the rules.
Hey, do you want to fight me? Let's go 1v1 me, bro.
So pistols at sundown.
I also have Chaos Bolt, so that kills everything so far.
Pistols can be social distanced.
Yeah,
Pistols can be social.
we will have a COVID safe duel to the death.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
Why can't you know that now?
I'm gonna roll both dice at the same time here. Okay, that is a 2 on one of the dice, and that is an 18 -1 for a 17 on the other.
Any way I can help out with the journey of the light in this blasted, cursed land will be a way that I can turn the tide in our favor in this war.
And he takes your hammer and he starts doing a rather complex looking ritual involving some what is called sun powder that you know, and it's just basically like powder that the Crusaders like to use. It's a bit of like a glowing golden powder, and he's like kind of like dusting it around. And he, sorry, Laird, your face is kind of entertaining.
The number of inappropriate drug consumption jokes. It's just sun powder, huh?
Look, I'm not making.
That's how they get high.
Oh, fuck off.
And get closer to their god.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Because the sun's in the sky, you know. You got to get
Yeah, that
high
makes
to
sense.
be close to him
Yeah.
or her or them. The sun is a primordial. I don't think it really has a gender, does it?
I
don't think so.
genders and primordials don't really go together. They're kind of things. They're not really like gendered beings, if it makes sense. Anyways, so let's go back to the ritual. Because sorry, Laird, I got distracted by your face.
I'm sorry. I had to hold it in.
No, it's good. We Gucci, fam. Anyways, he's doing the ritual, putting the sun powder around in a very intricate pattern that ends up actually looking kind of. Can you guys roll me perception? Actually, investigation. Let's make an investigation.
I wanted my +5.
Okay. I have to like pull my camera down for you to see this.
Is that another nat 20 in the same session?
That is a second nat 20. Can you see that?
Jeez, I can't. But like, I believe you. That's ridiculous. 2 nat 20s, 1 session. This is
13 for Ernest.
11 for Dilbert.
So Sioran recognizes quite well, actually, what these symbols that he's making out of the sun powder are, because they are in some cases identical to the runes inscribed on his dagger. And as he gets to sort of what I will describe the crescendo of his song in the ritual, the sun powder begins to glow a bright red, and where it overlaps your hammer, it takes on a permanent glow. And you have a permanent advantage against undead when you attack them.
Lit.
You're now not going to see any undead minions, just so Nat can not have to deal with that.
Sioran waits till after the ritual on the hammer is complete and he has received it. And he kind of looks at the ruins that he noticed are the same. Don't you think it's a wee bit of a coincidence that most of these ruins are the same as those ruins?
He drops his little satchel of powder in shock.
I think you broke him, Shorn.
Was it me this time?
I'm pretty sure for once it wasn't me.
And yeah, the second time we recorded this, it was me. So it was your turn to break him, and then I'm gonna pick up the dagger.
Did you just break the fourth wall?
I like it.
No, I'm here for it.
It happens in the intro, so I'm okay with like this Dilbert doing the fourth wall.
Especially since also Dilbert's the one that narrates himself doing things.
Right? He is the one who does that, so it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
To me.
It's like Emperor's New Groove style, you know?
I'm so here for that. Cusco is like my favorite Disney character of all time.
Oh, he's so
Best
good.
Disney princess.
Yeah, he's the best Disney princess. I agree. Where did they learn the sacred runes of the sun?
Maybe from the same store you got your runes from?
I cannot tell you how much I want to punch you right now, Turtle.
You're not the first one to say that.
Scale of 1 to 10. Just give it a try.
It
Oh,
would
that's
be
not
higher, but the large Goliath kind of made it clear that I wouldn't have to have an altercation with him if I decided to take the fight to the Turtle.
Honestly, 7's about par for the course from what Ernie's told us about his past.
Ernest, I've got a question for you.
Uh-huh.
Is all the bad things that happens to you just magical, or like in any way related to your disposition?
Well, the amount of traveling I've done has kind of shown me that everyone's god is the biggest specialist woo-woo god. So, religious people don't like me. Yeah. Probably because I get a little mouthy. I could totally get mouthy around religious people.
Get out of my cathedral.
Religious people don't like you.
Well, there's
Get
religious
out.
people and then magic people that magic happens to them.
And he
All right,
starts
fine.
pushing you guys out.
I don't think Sjorn really stops him from pushing. He just continues to talk to Ernest as he's kind of being shooed.
I'm going to take out an apple and eat it as I watch him, the whole show go down.
Hey, watch the elbow. Hey, Ernest, have you thought about maybe there's more to this than just your wild magic?
Well, like, generally also the religious people don't like it when I cast magic on their religious things by accident. And then they get all cranky and I don't know.
Watch your head on the door on the way out there, mate. Hey, watch it. I'm a bit tall. Mind your step as we go down here. Now, I think there might be more to it, Ernest. Because,
At least people with me are up front when they say they'd pay 10 squid to get rid of me.
Who pays squid? Who uses squids?
Hey,
I've been
don't make fun of me currency now, too.
A squid is the common currency where he's from, likely. Now get out of my cathedral and don't return unless you have the sigil of Balin Grey.
Where's Balin?
If you go to the north of the city, there's a gate that leads to what is called the North Mine. If you actually read the bounty, you'd see that.
He just like tosses Dilbert out and slams the door, and then you hear like some noise as like you can only presume the massive wooden bar that was leaning against the wall is being put on the door.
Dilbert's going to pull out the wanted poster and go, oh, it does say right here, last suspected to be in Northern Mine. Who knew reading the poster would be a good idea?
You know, I mostly took that away just so nobody else could steal our money. But, you know, that's a good idea.
Reading the sign explains the sign.
For those of our listeners that don't know why all of us started laughing that so hard, that is something Matt regularly says to some of us when we play Magic the Gathering. And by some of us, I mean Laird. As he gets very excited sometimes and just plays the cards without like stopping and reading all the way through, which you do when you get new cards, and it's fun. So that's where that came from.
Back.
So he was just as pleasant as most religious priesty boys. Not you, Shorn, which is surprising because you're so angry all the time. Perturbed. That's the word.
Was that meant to be a compliment?
Yes. See, in my travels that I do as a turtle, most like religious people don't like it when you tell their god's not the biggest, most powerful god in the world that shoots lightning bolts from its eyes and is amazing and makes all the other gods pay him ransoms and blah, 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 blah.
You know, of all the people I've met, you might try the hardest of all of them. I'll give you that.
Thanks, buddy. But I do like Gibraltar.
And then Ernest pats Sioran on the chest and goes,
Let's go find some candy.
Good idea. Sioran, if you take Ernie to go find, I think there were candy apples somewhere. I don't know, Goliath, blah, blah, blah. There's some people selling them in the square. Who knows how many this time. I have to go run an errand. I will meet you guys at one of the stands. I'll look for the Goliath, because Sioran's tall. And then I'm going to walk away.
He left me, he did. He's gone. He's left me with him.
It's almost like he's not going to come back. Like that one time, my other traveling companion left. He went to go buy cigarettes and never came back.
You know, some days I wish I smoked. All right. That's candy, you said. Where? I don't see anything.
Well, there's a candy guild over there.
And then I point to the massively pink, definitely would have paid more money than the Sun people to color their building.
It's hard to come across pink dyes, okay? Look.
No, I got you. There's so many different colors.
I see it. Yes. Captain Corsair's Candy and Consumables. How the hell could you read that from there?
Oh, well, because the Candy Guild's so successful that they kind of have places everywhere. So I use it a little like home base for each town I've been to. I just get some candy because I'm, 7.
You're what? I signed up to the Hunters Guild, not the Babysitters Guild.
I'm not a baby. I'm a full-grown turtle. We fully grown at like 2. I'm 7. I'm like a solid like middle-aged early-aged turtle.
This explains so much.
Ernest then pulls out kind of like a makeshift passport. I'm gonna start showing him all the places he's been to.
I've been here, and then I went here, and then this is where I turned all the dogs into cats. We don't go back there. And then I went here. This is where I turned all the houses into jelly. It was weird and wobbly, and they didn't go hungry though. And then over here, that's where I basically summoned a group of Modrons. Yeah, that's about it. Story time with Ernest is over. Let's go get candy.
Sioran just follows Ernest as he's telling these mildly disturbing stories and trots toward the candy shop.
So as you guys start heading towards Captain Corsair's Candy and Consumables shop, there is a group of what look like probably the most ostentatiously dressed people walking towards you. Like you get the sense they look like they're peacocking. Like that's just like how loud their outfits are. There is in that group a dwarf, a human, and a gnome, and they are very clearly heading to like walking in the line that you're walking towards the candy store. And the dwarf walks up to you. Well, well, well. Look who we have here. A few little of the, what do you call yourselves here? The Hunters Guild?
Sioran gives him an appraising glance. Would I be able to use an insight check to see what this the dwarf is on about? Or is he like genuinely asking a question?
Yeah, you can roll away. Is that another 20?
That's the so that's a 24.
24, fantastic. You realize that this guy is actually from the Great Hearth Hunter Corps. This is a similar group to you, but running out of the country of Great Hearth. These guys are seen as these great heroes who come down to the wild, untamed Fenland and, tame it. Whereas you're a bunch of prisoners. Sometimes Great Hearth is prisoner, but their hunter is actually mostly volunteer based. And they are definitely as full of themselves as they sound. Like they believe the stories about them. Look at this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like looking at the dwarf. You get the sense that this guy thinks that he's, the hottest shit around.
Sir, can you move out of the way? We're trying to go get some candy. Please, sir.
That's all right. See, here's the thing. I don't exactly think that you're being rude. I just think that you don't know why I'm here. And I'd like to explain to you what it is that I'm doing here so that you and I can come to an understanding.
Sioran leans forward, like way forward, to kind of be a little bit more level-eyed with him.
Dog, he's at your waist. You're going to have to lean pretty far forward.
Yeah. He's not quite taking a knee.
Hey, the turtle asked you nicely.
Roll me intimidation.
That is going to be a 2 minus 1 for a 1.
Look, it's not that I think that you're not intimidating. Don't get me wrong here. You're a nice big guy. It's just, I was thinking perhaps I got wind that there's a little bit of a conflict of interests between you and I, in that we have the same interests and will likely lead us to a conflict. The Sun Crusade, or as you call them, the Sun Guild, they posted their bounty all over. Not just in Hillsburg, but they posted it all the way down in Newharth. And so we figured, we'd come and we'd help the, as we call it, the incompetent guild. You guys, and we'd help you out. And perhaps, we figured, we have the same goal. And not that I want to work with you, because don't get me wrong, I don't want to soil my pants on that one. But perhaps, I could have a little bit of a wager to see who could finish this job faster.
Where I'm from, we're taught not to take money from the less fortunate. It seems like you're unfortunately under the impression that I'm some kind of Egypt, like you are. Now, I understand things can be difficult with such a small brain to back up this small worldview. Let me open your eyes to the bigger picture here. That right in the fine print of that bounty, it says, finders, keepers. If you want a race, don't come here making wages. Go and get it done then. Until then, get out me bloody way, and I'm going to get some candy.
Well, I mean, if you had a little bit of fry making, like a wager, that's okay. I'm all right with that.
Sioran just starts walking through him.
Is that a strength? That sounds like a strength contest to me.
Sure. That is a 17 plus 4 for 21.
Yeah, I rolled a nat 1. You kind of like bowl him over and he like collapses onto the ground. His human and gnome companion kind of like scurry out of your way as he's like, as you like probably step on him on the way past him.
Ernest follows Jorn and then goes to quickly help up the dwarf and goes,
It's okay. You don't want to sully yourself with us lesser folk. It's okay, buddy.
Then Ernest pats him on the head and then follows Jorn.
Oh, I'm gonna go get my candy. Meh, meh, meh.
You know, we'll see against this sigil. Just you wait. I'll see you in the dust. He kind of keeps shouting as you like walk into the store, and as you like close the door behind you, it just kind of like you can kind of hear that he's still shouting, but it's a little muffled in the street.
Just to save you some energy, I don't think he's listening. Have a good day.
And then kind of basically follows Jordan to go get candy.
He shouts louder as you do that.
Sioran turns to Ernest like after he hears that he's shouting back to the other person. Good teamwork.
You're big and strong. I feel more courageous around you. Also, teamwork.
So, Sioran, unfortunately, this is built for humans and not quite Goliaths. So, I mean, the door is like the standard, like 6'8" that they put everywhere that the Carpenters Guild likes, you know. So you kind of have to like bend to get in the door, and it's a little thin for your broad shoulders, and Ernest kind of has to go sideways to sidle through it. And once you're inside, you're actually surprised by how much headspace you have, because just like floor to the 20-foot ceiling of this building are these shelves that are just covered in confectionery. And standing behind the counter in the most absurd like tricorn hat covered in frills and feathers is none other than what you can assume is Captain Corsair herself. And she kind of says, "Welcome to Captain Corsair's Candy and Consumables."
That's right, audience. It's a lady captain. Check your privilege. So Ernest steps in. Then he like strolls up with the confidence that has only been seen when Ernest has been like poking at priests, and just walks up to the counter. Then plops down this worn book of cards.
Hey, Captain, I would like number 6 and a 4, and for my friend, probably an 8. Okay, thanks. Here's my membership book. And then you'll see that I get basically a good amount of discount on these 3 of these. And I think I have like basically the reward program. I'm not sure. That's new. At the old world. I'm not sure if it's come out here, but I really would like to do that. I paid extra for it probably about 3 months ago. It's really important. Okay, thanks, Captain.
Matt, can you roll me a percentage check, please? I love that he just has this membership. Right?
95. This is home away from home.
Sir, it is great to have you back. Welcome back, Buccaneer. And she slides you a number 4, a number 6, and she kind of gets a look on her face, and she says, "We're all out of number 8s. What? We have just for high-end exclusive members." And she like kind of like opens the counter and gestures to the like looks kind of to the back room.
That's the service I'm used to. Thanks, Captain. Come on, Sioran.
And then I go to the back.
In the back, they have a make-your-own candy station, which with your membership, your level of membership, allows you to like do whatever it is you want. I imagine Ernest is proficient in this, and because of your
Very
membership
much so.
levels, you have advantage on your checks in this room. But you can make custom number 8s for Sioran if you would like.
So Ernest walks in, and then cracks his knuckles like, oh, this is exciting. Okay, this is a new machine. Oh, baby. Oh, don't worry. Oh, don't worry, Papa Ernest is gonna be nice to you. We're gonna have a lot of fun. We won't break you. We're gonna make some good candy for my new friend, okay? Okay, let's try this.
Papa Ernest.
Ernest cracks his knuckles. He does his thing, basically pulls some bobs, and then basically make the roll. I roll 2d20?
Yes.
15. What do I add to it?
I would say probably your wisdom, because this is like a knowledge based skill sort of thing, or like a skill based. You know what I mean? Experience based skill. Haha. Words are difficult.
Makes sense. 16 for that.
Fantastic. Yeah, you make what is the number 8, Matthew?
Oh, I'm not sure. I'm just Ernest immediately goes, try this, Jorn. And then Ernest basically just hands it to Jorn. And then as Jorn takes it, Ernest basically quickly goes back to the machine and keeps making stuff.
Gilbert.
If you, our listeners, have any ideas of what a number 8 is, or a 6 or a 4 for that matter, please send us pictures, descriptions, something. We'll put it out there. We'll make sure we deliver so that everyone can visualize and taste together what a number 8 is.
And that's one more quest podcast at gmail.com. That's where you want to send that.
The success of the Candy Guild is only surpassed by the success of the Postcard Guild.
It's probably after about 10 minutes here, Ernest walks away with, I'd say, 10 pounds of candy. And just Sioran, I don't know what you do at all this time, but Ernest is just kind of going nuts on this machine.
Sioran takes a bite into the number 8 that he's handed. And you just kind of see, for a moment, the ever-permanent scowl that inhibits his face dissipates for a moment of starry-eyed enjoyment.
How'd you like that number 8? As I figured it was something you would like.
It reminds me of something I haven't experienced in years. Not sure what it is. Acceptance, maybe.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, on that really touching note, let's go to Dilbert. Let's flash over to where he is. So, Dilbert, you find yourself walking through the market stalls. Where are you headed?
Do I see the Medics Guild?
Oh yeah, it's got a nice big bright pastel green sign.
Perfect. I'm going to head that way.
Okay, so you get there successfully.
Is there an inside to this?
So as you approach this building, you'll note that it's got a rather open front with 2 counters covered in herbs and poultices and whatnot, and kind of stuff that the medics kind of give to other people to make them think that they're giving them all the right stuff. And behind that is a counter that says members, and there's a lady standing there with a book in front of her, and she's using an abacus rather quickly and just tallying some sums on it in that book in front of her.
Excellent. I want to head over to the members only section and go up to the counter.
Great. She looks up. Number, please.
I don't have my card with me. It got misplaced on the travels this way. I was hoping to renew my membership.
1 gold membership replacement fee.
Here you go. And I'm going to put a gold on the counter and slide it across.
What is your name so I may look you up in our system?
Dilbert Dubois. Pleasure to meet you.
The pleasure is all mine, I'm sure, Mr. Dilbert. And she turns around and looks at the the wall behind her, and it's a bunch of shelves, and starts pulling it open, and there's just ledger upon ledger upon ledger, and she goes and she's DE, DT, DW, no, DU, yes, here we go, and she grabs it and puts it on the table. And just it's got a big capital D and then a little U, and she starts going through it and leafing through the book and sees all of, and you start seeing how many people with the DU surnames exist in the Medic Guild.
There's not one of them.
Aren't you Dubois?
Yeah, Dubois. Debois.
Oh, DE. Oh, you should probably tell her that.
As the person that spelled out the name and helped me pick it in the first place, Mr. DM. You think you would remember?
It's been a long day. All right, words sometimes. I guess she puts it back against the DE book and puts that on the table and starts going through that. Oh Jesus! Can you roll me a percentage dice to see if you will be? Because when you get thrown in prison, you get kicked. All your guild memberships are revoked. So we'll have to see if that news has made it here yet.
53.
Mr. Dubois, it says that you are 3 months past due on your dues. So I will need the standard 5 gold per month plus a late fee of 5 gold for being behind.
5 late fee, 5. So 20 gold or 30 gold? Which one?
20 gold.
Of course. And I'm going to count it out and slap it on the table and in 4 little neat stacks of 5 and like poker chips, slide them across expertly as if he's done it a million times before.
And she takes them 1 stack at a time and counts each stack out, despite just it's needless, but she does it and then puts them neatly in a drawer in front of her. Thank you, Mr. Dubois. Would you like access to the members only section of the Medic Guild? And she like gestures behind her to a door, like to the door basically that says members only behind the counter that has the members only sign.
Yes, that would be fantastic. Did you
All
make
right.
me a replacement membership badge or?
It will be available on your exit.
Okay, thank you. And then I'm going to head into the other room and look for some Dream Lily extract.
Yeah, you actually find about 5 vials of Dream Lily extract, reasonably priced at 15 gold a pop.
I hate the taxes over here. I'm going to pick up 4 of them and bring them out to the counter.
That'll be 60 gold.
Of course. And I'm going to count it out again in stacks of 5 again, and slowly just 1 stack of 5, slide it, 1 stack of 5, slide it. I'm going to repeat this 12 times.
As you go through like the process and like get into a rhythm of like the slowness, she like kind of gets into a rhythm of like, as you put one down, she like takes it, counts it out, puts it in her drawer and closes the drawer again, and then reaches for the next one, counts it out, opens the drawer, closes it. As methodical as you are, but it doesn't feel ironic at all. It feels like this is like her jam. At the end of it all, she slides a little book that is your membership booklet across the table. There is your membership as well. Will you be requiring any other of our services?
No, not today. Thank you so much. Have a lovely evening. And then
I hope your day is also not bad and pleasant and filled with the things that make life worth living.
Thanks. And then I'm going to head out and start looking for Ernie and Sioran.
You head out and you find them pretty quickly, just like standing outside the Candy Guild enjoying their candies.
So, how was your adventure?
Sioran is busy still stuffing his face with the number 8.
This is for you.
And then Ernest basically hands Dilbear a number 4, which is a beautiful arrangement of candied flowers.
Ernie, this is so sweet and so kind of you too.
You're welcome.
The bear's gonna eat them like petal by petal.
Oh, that's classy.
Okay, so we're off to now.
North to the mines?
Yes, I figure we better get a move on and collect this bounty. Just so we can get paid quicker. I'd like to have the money sooner rather than later. What do you think?
I like money.
Ernest is nodding, but in a way that looks tremendously like he's on a massive sugar rush. More vibrating than anything.
Well, we better get going while this turtle's turbocharged.
I know I can hear it rattling inside the shell.
All right, so you guys start heading north. It's pretty obvious as you get to the north end of town that there's not much to the north outside of this mine that's there. There's literally signs like "this way to the northern mine." They haven't been kept well, but they exist. As you leave town and start going, like even the path, what was once clearly something that was relatively well maintained with cobblestone, it has kind of fallen to disrepair as it really just indicative that like not much happens beyond the farms here. So like the northern mine was abandoned, but the path is still navigable. It's just not ideal. And after about, we'll say, most of a day's travel, you see you see at the top of the hill in front of you, it has the entrance to a mine. Now, night is falling, so you kind of have a choice of do you enter the mines now or do you rest for the night?
So Sioran, how are you feeling? Because Ernie still looks like he got electrocuted and has enough power to run 3.5 marathons. If you're up for it, Sioran, I'm okay to dive right in and just get that speedy money you were talking about earlier.
I don't think it's in our best interest to waste any time here.
Want to go fast in the dwarf? Fast.
Is it now the dwarf and the turtle, not the tortoise and the hare?
It's not the tortoise and the hare, it's the turtle and the dilbear.
Oh, that flowed really nicely too. Damn, I'm just upset.
Aren't you the poet, Sandy?
Yeah, and I didn't think about it, so just don't rub that in. Yeah, salt in the wound. Okay, so as you get to the mine itself and kind of crest this last hill, you kind of get closer to this small outcropping of buildings, and from afar, they don't necessarily look quite so abandoned as you were led to believe. But now that you're up close, you definitely see they're abandoned. One of the buildings has a roof collapsed. One of the buildings has the door kind of rotted away. And they're sort of in shambles all around this mine entrance. Now, the mine entrance itself actually looks like relatively sturdy, but that kind of goes without saying when it comes to mine guild safety. And so, yeah, what do you guys want to do?
I think Sioran would like to maybe discreetly look around to see if anybody else has been in the area.
Yeah, roll me some investigation, my dude.
That is going to be a 19 plus 1.
Got a dirty 20. 3 nat 20s and a dirty 20. My God.
I don't know what's going on, man. This is the luckiest I've ever been.
Laird is playing up to his cleric status, both in class as well as dice rolls.
Yeah, I didn't realize that like the DPS support tank healer DPS class also buffed your dice. Like that's God.
So as you investigate, you actually find quite a few things as you're just looking around for signs of other life here. The first thing you find is a note on a wall stating why the mine has been abandoned. They ran into a kingdom mine. So this would be one of the Shadow Kingdom mines. And they also ran out of copper. You also find a crate of copper bars that was abandoned here. And the last thing you find is a crate in the magazine. Now, the magazine specifically is where they kept all the ordnance and such, with a massive great hammer that seems like it's kind of in constant shadow. You also find recent signs of passage.
How heavy is a copper bar?
I was thinking the same thing.
Perfect.
About a pound.
I'm gonna pick up one and just slip it under my poncho.
Sioran is also going to pick up a copper bar.
Yeah, okay, there's 48 bars left.
Ernest is kind of just whizzing around, and because he rolled badly on his investigation, he's a little confused.
Yeah, so the Great Hammer, by the way, specifically, or sorry, not Great Hammer, Warhammer, my bad, might be, not Great Hammer, Warhammer. Sometimes words are difficult, guys. It definitely has like tendrils of shadow coming off of it, and looks a little spooky, shall we say? It's a little evil.
Sioran kind of like looks at this shadowy, tenderly hammer and draws his sun-forged one and just kind of pokes it a little bit with his hammer.
Nothing bad happens. Actually, something that Dilbert notices, now that you're holding it up, is that both of the hammers glow. Sioran, only the one in your right hand glow, like only your regular one glows.
I have not picked up this hammer yet.
Sorry.
It is
the one on the
still
ground.
on
They
the
both
ground.
glow, but the one in your hand glows like a torch too, by the way. So it's similar to having the light spell cast on it constantly.
Do you guys think that this other glowing hammer belongs to those sun dudes because they know how to make them glow like your hammer does, Sioran?
You might be right. My concern is here, and I can't really stress enough that I'm not trying to overuse this. It definitely looks cursed.
You know, you might be right. Ernie, can you come hold this?
No, don't bloody touch it. Nobody
Turtle
touches.
whizzes over.
Yeah, I guess as Sioran is saying, nobody touch the hammer.
The turtle whizzes over and like stop inches from the hammer, looking at Dilbert and Sioran, back and forth very quickly.
What do I do?
Back away from the hammer.
Do it!
Back away. No.
Ernest then kind of like falls on his bum and sits, kind of sad.
I don't know what to do now.
Come on, Sioran, you broke him.
Very good. Very good. What are we going to do with this definitely cursed, totally darkness knife and definitely also cursed, totally darkness hammer?
Does it look like the knife?
Are there runes on it?
That's a great question. Are there runes? Does it look like the knife? Kinda. Yeah, a little bit. Certainly it has the same glowy aura about it. And Dilbert, if you do pull the knife out, you do notice that it also glows to your eyes.
Weird. Do you guys remember the knife glowing before? Maybe if the two of them touch, they'll explode.
What? Glow? It's all shadowy. What do you mean it's glowing? Something wrong with your eyes?
Yeah,
And,
probably.
Sioran just kind of like stares at his face a little bit.
Dilbert will stare back.
Do Dilbert's eyes glow like most not humans with winky faces eyes glow?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, okay, Sioran, you see his eyes glowing.
Sioran just stares into his eyes, gives him a knowing glance, and then turns back to the hammer. Right, this here shadowy hammer and that shadowy knife. What do we do with them, you reckon?
Well,
What do we get to tell?
Ernest has been eating candy again.
What do we get to tell?
that's a good idea. The knife fits in my pocket. The hammer does not.
I can hold the hammer. I'm big strong and candy.
And then Ernest kind of steps up and goes to grab the hammer again.
Sioran grabs his own head and just shakes it.
Ernest then hoists up the hammer. Ernest then goes like,
I'm a big crusader. I smash things with my big hammer. You're right, this thing's heavy.
and then Ernest puts it in his pack and goes back to eating a little bit of candy.
Well, onward and downward.
Let's go!
What could possibly go wrong?
Is that rhetorical, or do you want a list?
I don't want a list. No, let's just go.
The bear's gonna pat Ernest on the chest and cast light on his clothes.
Sioran holds up his glowing hammer like a torch.
The bear's still gonna tap your amulet and make it glow too, just for the sake of it.
Dilbert's a man of habits.
Sioran, as Dilbert does this, kind of turns to him and says, "You see, my Emma, it glows when there's trouble nearby."
So if it stops glowing, which one of the three of us disappeared?
There was one time I stopped all the lights working in the town, and it was night forever. I don't go there anymore. I'm going to the gate. Bye!
Dilbert's gonna follow Ernest.
Ernest is going down the trail now.
Oh, no.
Possibly,
you say you're going.
if this was a cartoon, you wouldn't be able to see Ernest's legs.
Your legs would be those like scribbled circles.
Yeah, there's like, he's not moving too fast because he's a turtle. However, his legs are going very quickly.
But you're like, you know, you're basically a total equivalent of sprinting, right?
Yeah, basically, we're going.
Okay, yeah. I need you to roll me a we'll say acrobatics check for balance as you run.
On the road? What am I going to fall on?
No, in the mine, dude. You said you run into them. You're like right at the entrance of the mine.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, that's a 2.
Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, so you start running, and you guys gotta watch him run into the mine, and I don't know what pace you follow at, but a short while after he enters the mine, you hear what sounds like basically a really identifiable sound of a turtle tripping and falling and sliding a little bit. You take 9 points of falling damage, apparently.
Ow! What the? Ow! Why? What do I smell some of my candy? Okay, it's still good. It's still good. The
5-second rule, Ernie. Sioran, we might want to catch up to him before he makes a portal to, the middle of the earth where volcano is.
Sioran takes that a little bit more seriously than he ever thought that he would, and starts running towards the turtle.
Oh, how fast are you guys running?
At a run, not a sprint.
I'll still need acrobatics checks, but the DC will be lower.
So that's going to be a flat 19 plus 0.
16 plus 2 for 18.
Anyways, you both make the DC and get to Ernest, who's like kind of on his back. But as we established earlier, that's not necessarily a bad thing for him.
Ernest is throwing up candy in there and catching them in his mouth.
You guys made it. Okay. You guys ready?
Yes. How about you slow down just a wee bit, all right?
All right, fine.
Did you just ask the turtle to slow down?
Dilbert, I realize what I just said, but I said what I said.
And you weren't wrong.
This is the world that
Did
I
you
live in
fall
now.
and Sioran, did you fall and hit your head too? I didn't see it. I was on my back.
I think I might. I think I might have. I just don't know anymore.
So, we're looking for dark and scary crusaders that might want this hammer back. Okay.
And then Ernest walks slower into the cave.
Hey, Ernie, when we find the Crusaders, make sure to give them the hammer back in the face.
I don't have that spell yet. There was one time I did make everyone's tools float. They didn't mind that, actually. It was fine.
I didn't know these stories had happy endings sometimes.
Sometimes they do. Sometimes those things are like, that's fine. Everything's just floating in the air now.
Yeah, fantastic. This is good. So you start heading down the tunnel, and it kind of serpentines its way downward for a bit. Sioran, after about, we'll say like 50 feet into this, like the ceiling becomes what the mining guild calls industry standard height, what you call the most inconvenient bag of garbage ever, as you have to hunch over and just like start, like heading downwards, like hunched and uncomfortable. Not great for you. The ceilings are about 6 foot even, and I think you're like 7 foot something or 8 feet. God damn. Yeah. So it's not great. Yeah. It's not, this space isn't necessarily great for you. And as you guys start heading downwards, there's like some pretty obvious signs that other people have been here. You don't even have to roll for it. It's that obvious. 3 sets of pretty obvious footprints come down into the dust here. And as you keep going, it becomes more and more obvious that the walls are marked by something, what looks like chalk, if you were to hazard a guess, which is kind of a standard caving technique. And we'll put standard in air quotes over in Great Hearth, where they teach you to put chalk on one side of the wall so you can always find your way out. Yeah, and you know this because it was technically in the training manual that you were supposed to read in the boat, but you didn't. You as you keep going, eventually you reach a central room that has torches lit all around it. Yes, still there.
When we see the chalk, can I tell how fresh the chalk is?
Oh yeah. What chalk would that be?
Alchemy?
Sure, let's do that. Yeah, you do that.
13 plus 5.
So 18. You wouldn't guess more than a day. Like that'd be your ballpark. I can't give you like too much like accurate to the hour, but like definitely quite recent.
This chalk is new. Do you think the Shadow Crusader guys are having issues finding their way out, and they needed to mark it?
Okay, so Sioran's wisdom's pretty high, so I think I don't super need to make a check to respond the way that he does.
Yep.
I feel like if this was my base of operations, I wouldn't leave markings leading right to where I am all the time. However, if I was to show up here maybe looking for people in a place I've never been before and wanted a way back out, I'd leave it behind. Now, something tells me that there is a very big ego crammed in a tiny body waddling around in the caves round here.
Sioran, I did not mark the walls. You saw me the whole time I was in the cave.
I'm not talking about you. There's a nasty little, I guess, dwarf, but he acted more like a goblin running around, looking for the same mark that we are.
He tried to basically get us to, feed his gambling addiction. I don't know what it was for, but, I don't know, but it was before candy, so nothing mattered.
Wait, do we have a rival?
I guess so. He did tell us to smell him later and all that fun stuff.
Excellent. The bear's going to take his water skin and start pouring it on the chalk, trying to wash it away.
Does Dilbear need to make a shit disturber check for that?
I was going to say, I just rolled for it. It's a 15 after the plus 3.
15 shit disturber. How much mileage are you going to get on a shit disturber as this guy? I should never have given that to his proficiency. God damn it. Successfully. Are you going to do that to everyone along the way? Is my question here.
Probably 4 in a row, but not all of them. I feel like 4 is probably enough of a gap that it'll confuse them a little.
Perfect. Yeah, you know what? You can get, for that, you can get 1 shit disturber point redeemable at the shit disturber interdimensional store if ever we get there. Just keep note of your shit disturber points because I will not.
There's a store in an interdimensional portal?
What? Dog, It's Dungeons and Dragons. There's interdimensional everything.
I got you.
The god of shit disturbery smiles upon Dilbear. Yeah, so back into the serious stuff. You keep heading down this pathway, and eventually you make it into... You see light, I should say, ahead of you before you make it anywhere. Oh, what do you do?
Ernest like whispers, but not like whispering enough. He goes, We should probably be quieter. That's the light. And then Ernest gets into a sneaky stance.
Is Ernest still leading, by the way?
It would appear so.
Yep.
Yes.
Dilbear's never been at the back of this pack, and it's confusing him.
We're all having crises of character right now.
Fantastic. So, yeah, if you just keep heading forward, roll me some stealth, though.
Oh,
No.
And anyone who wants to keep pace with them also roll stealth.
so I think I have this disadvantage on that with my plate armor, correct?
Yes, sir.
You do.
Joy. Oh no.
4.
That's going to be a 2 plus 0.
Oh, I had a 2 plus 2.
12.
So you start very sneakily heading down the tunnel, and as you get to a point where you can start making out what's in the light, you see feet by a campfire, and as you get closer, you see a body on the floor, and not one you guys recognize. What looks like a human has been stabbed to death in their sleep here.
Ernest, at seeing the corpse, stops immediately and then remembers he's scared of everything and then immediately backtracks to Sjorn and goes, I think it'd be good if you go first now.
Right, you've had your fun.
And Sioran kind of walks forward and kneels down beside the body and starts looking for signs of a struggle or a blood trail or spattering, things like that.
Yeah, roll me probably medicine or survival or investigation, whichever one you want to justify in that situation.
I guess I'll do medicine to look at the body, and then I suppose investigation to look around.
Perfect. Dilbear, you got a hand?
Oh, I was going to do a medicine check too.
Yeah, roll away, boys.
All right, that's a 19 for the medicine check, and a 7 for the investigation check.
Okay, fantastic. So the first thing you notice about this room, we'll start with the investigation check here, Soren, is that you can stand up in it. It's actually quite a bit taller, and there are 7 passages that lead off of it. So 8 if you include the one you came from, but it's pretty obvious which one you came from because it is chalked to bits. They put a bunch of chalk markings all over it and say exit here. It's very obvious, chalking. As you kind of start looking around the body, it's a pretty random amount of spatter of blood on the ground, and the body itself has about 6 entry wounds from a dagger that was then just kind of left in the body. It looks like it was a pretty aggressive job, but no signs of struggle that you can see.
Is Dilbear doing anything with the chalk marks?
Not with those ones, because Dilbear thinks it's probably a good idea to leave them so that we don't get lost on the way out for those ones. Can only disturb so much before it hurts you.
True. Reasonable.
Sorry, so my nat 1 for medicine didn't help me with anything, right? I just know he's dead.
Yeah, your nat 1 for medicine kind of found you that dagger sticking out of him, but you kind of did a bad job with everything else.
Gilbert first thought the guy was alive.
He's fine. He's breathing. It's okay. We're safe. Does anyone else want to do any checks in this space?
After I've determined that with a dagger in him, probably don't want to help him, I'd like to do a survival check to see if I can track.
Yeah, dude, go ahead. Roll me survival, yeah.
That fell. 13.
So one of the things you do notice is a small boot print on like a blood spatter, and it heads down one specific passage. And that's what your survival check brings you.
That doesn't look like trouble at all, does it? Would you follow me in there? How about following us on social media instead? Find out what happens next time on One More Quest.